that she has proven herself not to be a kind person, okay? She has a track record of being difficult to work with. So you should just know that she is a bit of a brat.
Candace Owens just obliterated Blake Lively's entire court case with brutal receipts and undeniable evidence. She didn't hold back for a second, calling Blake exactly what she is, a manipulative liar who thought she could fool the world.
Blake Lively filed a complaint against Justin Baldoni and others in California, claiming sexual harassment.
But guess what? Blake's already crumbling reputation just got completely annihilated, and there's no coming back from this.
The fact that she is a modern feminist, which means that she grew up wealthy, her life has been perfect, and so she has to create struggle where there just isn't any.
Blake Lively really thought she could pull a full Amber Heard move and get away with it. She thought she could spin some over-the-top sob story, wave the I'm a victim flag, and have Hollywood fall at her feet. Well, surprise, surprise. People aren't that stupid anymore. Blake just learned the hard way that you can't gaslight the public when receipts exist. She isn't some beloved Hollywood darling. She's an insufferable mean girl feminist who manufactures struggles out of thin air just so she can feel relevant.
I want to protect myself. I don't want to hurt her, but I want to protect myself. It's just bad business. And again, who leaked it? Who leaked within 24 hours, the New York Times being able to have something to the entire public.
And now she's finding out what happens when you overplay your hand. The meltdown is spectacular. Blake's entire brand was built on a fake, carefully curated image of being the perfect actress, the cool girl, the low-maintenance, effortlessly chic woman.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, when I just recognize that they do things and say things that let me know, that signal to me that they are up on their high horses and that they potentially treat people very badly and that really they're bored and rich.
But when reality finally hit, it hit hard. Blake's reputation? Destroyed. She thought this lawsuit would be her golden ticket to turning the tables, but instead, she's become a walking punchline. Just like Amber Heard, she thought she could twist a personal grudge into a massive legal takedown. And just like Amber Heard, she's watching it crumble before her eyes.
Remarkably, the internet for the first time had a bit of pause, and one of the things that they had a bit of pause about was why did she not file a lawsuit? If this is all true, why did Blake Lively not file a lawsuit?
And let's not pretend this is new behavior from Blake Lively. Hollywood insiders have been spilling the tea on her for years. She's not a good person. Everyone in the industry hates working with her. Anna Kendrick can't stand her. A former Glamour magazine employee straight up called her the rudest person ever.
She said the most difficult person that she has ever worked with and the rudest person that she had ever worked with was Blake Lively.
You think Hollywood types would go out of their way to say that about a fellow A-lister unless she was really that bad? And let's not forget Armie Hammer, who got canceled for being an alleged cannibal. Even he called her a diva and a nightmare on Gossip Girl. Blake and Ryan don't just act elite, they act petty. The whole Joe Alwyn unfollowing scandal is proof that these two have the emotional maturity of middle schoolers. Taylor Swift breaks up with her boyfriend of 5 years, snaps her fingers, and suddenly, Blake, Ryan, the Haim sisters, and Gigi Hadid all unfollow Joe Alwyn at the exact same time, like they're in some cult initiation. Ryan Reynolds is 48 years old. Why is he acting like a 13-year-old girl on Tumblr in 2013? Grow up.
Okay, Ryan, you're 48 years old. Grow up. Literally grow up. Like, I mean, like, you can still follow your pal Joe Alwyn. That's not how people conduct themselves in a divorce. And just and to go get pictured before you do it, to show him I'm teen girl, pathetic.
No grown man should be that involved in his wife's petty drama. This wasn't about loyalty. This was about playing power games and making it very clear who Hollywood's real queen bee is. Taylor Swift. Blake and Ryan were just desperate to prove they were still in her inner circle.
To show him I'm teen girl, pathetic, and also a little bit gay.
Imagine being so self-absorbed that you turn a serious movie into a cheap PR stunt for your shampoo line. And guess what? People saw right through it. They called her out for being tone deaf, fake, and self-obsessed. And just when it looked like her reputation couldn't sink any lower, Blake did what every elite feminist does when they're in trouble. She pulled the victim card.
And it didn't seem like it was going to be salvageable because that's how the internet works. Once they start to see who you are, they don't tend to forgive you.
Suddenly, on December 20th, 2024, out of nowhere, Blake files a private complaint against Justin Baldoni and producer Jamie Heath with the California Civil Rights Department. And wow, what a coincidence. The very next day, December 25th, 21st, 2024, this so-called private complaint mysteriously leaks to the New York Times. Who could have done that? Gee, I wonder. And by December 22nd, 2024, the New York Times runs a full-blown hit piece against Baldoni, painting him as Hollywood's newest villain. Funny how that works.
A strong vote that the public in the end is going to recognize that Blake Lively was being manipulative.
One minute she's painting Baldoni as some obsessed creep who sexualized her, and the next she's sobbing about how he called her old and fat. Well, which is it, Blake? Is he a predator who couldn't keep his hands off you? Or is he disgusted by you and making you feel insecure? You don't get to play both the "I'm too attractive, he's obsessed with me," and "I'm too old, he humiliated me" cards at the same time. Pick a struggle.
And they can determine whether or not there was sexual harassment here, there was a smear campaign, or there was retaliation, because we have proof and receipts that absolutely and unequivocally show this is not true.
And let's talk about that pornography claim, because this is where Blake's manipulation reaches new levels of pathetic. She accused producer Jamie Heath of showing her porn on set as some twisted form of harassment. Sounds horrifying, right? Except it wasn't porn. It was a video of his wife giving birth.
Baldoni was sort of a creep that he had, quote, inserted improvised gratuitous sexual content and or scenes which involved nudity into the film, including for an underage character.
The man was trying to explain how to shoot a natural birthing scene for the movie. But leave it to Blake, feminist warrior Lively, to spin it into a sexual harassment accusation. Imagine being so desperate to play the victim that you take a childbirth video and try to frame it as evidence of abuse.
So there it is. That's just modern feminism on steroids, where they just can't even think straight because they're perpetually offended and they're remarkably unlikable.
And it gets worse. Blake cried about Baldoni invading her privacy by coming into her trailer uninvited while she was breastfeeding. Sounds creepy, right? Well, plot twist. She invited him. Blake literally texted Baldoni herself, telling him to come in, and Baldoni, because he actually has receipts, provided the screenshot proving it. So what now, Blake? Did you forget that text messages exist, or did you just assume everyone would blindly take your word for it? Either way, you played yourself.
With Lively accusing Baldoni and Heath of entering her trailer uninvited while she was undressed or vulnerable, including when she was breastfeeding her infant child.
Blake Lively really thought this lawsuit would be her ultimate redemption arc. She thought she could cry victim, get the Me Too crowd on her side, and crush Baldoni's career. Instead, it completely backfired. People aren't buying it. Hollywood isn't rallying behind her. And worst of all, her lawsuit actually ended up exposing her own lies.
Blake Lively filed a complaint against Justin Baldoni and others in California, claiming sexual harassment.
And then came the biggest plot twist of all. Justin Baldoni wasn't playing games. On December 31st, 2024, he fired back with a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times for defamation. And he didn't just file a lawsuit, he brought receipts. Baldoni dropped text messages proving he never leaked any negative press about Blake. His PR firm never planted stories against her. They were literally joking about how she was ruining her own reputation.
Justin Baldoni responded in a very big way to this lawsuit. 11 days later, on December 31st, Justin Baldoni filed a $250 million lawsuit.
Blake was the one who invited him into her trailer while she was breastfeeding. And here's where it gets worse for Blake. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, is not just here to win. He's here to burn everything to the ground. Friedman publicly announced that he will be releasing every single text message and email related to the case. This is the legal equivalent of a nuclear bomb. Blake thought she could control the narrative, but now she's about to get fully exposed.
He hired a PR crisis team because Blake Lively was being such a monster and dropping these things in the press. And so they were planning to go to battle if she kept going, but they never actually ended up having to go to battle.
And guess what happened the moment Blake realized she was losing? She actually filed a real lawsuit. Yep, she went from, oh no, this is just a private complaint, to, crap, now I actually have to take this to court. She never wanted this to go to trial. She wanted a quick, easy PR win, but now she's trapped. Blake Lively wanted to be the next Amber Heard, but the public is smarter now. People see through the fake feminism, they see through the manipulations, and most importantly, they see through her lies. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is winning. A public poll showed that 92% of people believe he's going to win this lawsuit.
And like I said, my money is on Blake Lively being wrong. I think she is 100% wrong. This doesn't make him a good guy, doesn't make Justin Baldoni a great guy.
His lawyer has the receipts and Blake has nowhere to hide. And let's be real, Blake Lively's Hollywood career is officially over. She will never recover from this. No one trusts her. No one wants to work with her.
Wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni.
And for what? All because she tried to weaponize the Me Too movement to cover up her own PR disaster. And let's be honest, Hollywood is over this kind of nonsense. No one wants to deal with these fake weaponized allegations anymore. No one wants to work with toxic elitist feminists who use victimhood as a career move.
They dug into her past interviews and realized that Blake Lively is, well, not a very kind person, as feminists are not allowed to be because they always just have to be a feminist.
Blake tried to play the game and she lost. The lesson here? Don't be Blake Lively. Don't fake victimhood. Don't stage PR stunts to save your career. And most importantly, don't mess with people who actually keep receipts. This isn't the first time a celebrity has tried to flip the script after ruining their own image, but it might be one of the most embarrassingly obvious attempts. Blake Lively waited until she had absolutely no other option before she pulled this stunt. She waited until her career was in freefall, her movie was bombing, and people were dragging her in every direction, and only then did she suddenly remember that she had been harassed. And the best part, nobody is buying it. Hit that subscribe button because this drama is far from over, and you don't want to miss the next bombshell drop.